This is my father, King Edward VIII, the real King Edward VIII, not the imposter that married Wallace Simpson. My father was married to Claudia Ruth O'Keefe, sister to artist Georgia O'Keefe, from Madison, Wisconsin. And the character assassination, that was what was brought about to take down my father, because he wouldn't do what the Illuminati, who control your press and have for a long, long time, and there's a blackout on all this. They don't want to tell about taking my father down, lying. He was married to my mom, who was the Queen of England, and Sir Winston Churchill burned the files of my birth and my father's marriage, and installed their own monarch, George the Sixth. And thus Elizabeth is illegal, and there's all kind of illegal treaties that were signed there. And I'm going to say this, it was an addendum to my dad's forced abdication, and Wallace Simpson married a double in 1937, and history tells you my dad abdicated to marry Wallace Simpson, which was a lie. Well, Wallace married the double in 1937, so they've got rid of my mom and dad, and literally put them out on the street. They couldn't get back to the castle or anything. Nobody would, in other words, they were out. Now then, George helped in my kidnapping. There was an addendum to my father's forced abdication. It was legal. This stated if an heir was born, it would not disinherit the heir would inherit. Well, I was born in 1939, and that's when my Uncle George and Roosevelt, they got together, and this is Eleanor and the mother to Roosevelt. Of course, this is a Rothschild. This is Elizabeth's mother, the so-called Queen Mom. She's a fake. They talk about fake. What a sick thing. They're talking about fake news and everything, and this is William and Kate and Zuckerman and Obama, and they got this going when everything they've done to my father, they've got a fake monarch in there, Elizabeth and William, and it's unbelievable. It is. And William's going to make himself look good. I'd like to strip him of the suits and everything they stole from me and put him out. It was okay to put me on the street, and I'm the legal monarch. And while they prance around and pretend to be the good guys, they're incapable of telling the truth. How do you think, if it is finally told the truth, and you, the public, are forced to see what I've left out that was done to me here in this country and to my children? It is so horrible. How are they going to explain it? They've got to think that I'm never going to make it, that I've put all this up the last years and it's going nowhere. Not going to bother them. They're above the law, obviously. So I'm going to quit. I'm not going to quit putting up videos unless they took my account down yesterday. Yes, they did. I didn't know it until last night, but it was put back up. Now, I haven't checked this morning, so I may not have it this morning, but they really did. Something about it wasn't up to standards. Telling the truth is not up to standards. So I'm just going to leave it at this. For today, the Illuminati kidnapped me. My father wouldn't go along with them. He wouldn't take orders from him. He's the opposite of the way he's been portrayed by the media. And they used a double to do it, and American Spy to do it. And she was all over the magazines and everything, and she still is. Do you see a picture of my mom? My mom was a school teacher. My mom had money in her own right. She had a home back then in Bel Air. That was years ago before I was born. And, they stripped my father. I don't know what they left him after Elizabeth and her dad and mom took over everything. And then they've given it to George and Charles. By the way, Charles is divorced. He married Camilla. She's a divorcee, and she was Catholic. All the things that they tried to, they didn't mention it in history, but one of the things they tried to say was my mom was a commoner, but then they would have had to acknowledge her. So they tried to strip her out of history and replace her with Wallace. So anyway, they're down here covering, and I'm not going to show the TV. I don't want them to have a reason. I don't know if that is to take down my account, so I'm not going to show it. They're all over Alabama with Mower, who suddenly they're telling about, well, that he groped and things like that, teenagers, which I don't know if it's true or not. If it is, it's horrible. But I hope the world has to see what, I'm 78 years old, almost 79. What was done to my parents, to me, my children in this country, and the horrifying things. And they did it to my country too, and it's never been told. That was okay. You know what? That would make the media look like the crooks they are. They need to be investigated and, quite frankly, locked up and put away in jail. That's where they belong. They've deleted the news all this time, and they can sit and, well, anyway, if I'm rambling, what would you be doing? I will say this again. The Illuminati were the ones that helped kidnap me and take down my dad. Rockefellers, Rothschilds, Bilderbergers, JFK, his father. By the way, while we got JFK up here, JFK was into everything. He was mafia, which is really the Illuminati. Marilyn Monroe, everybody knows that Marilyn Monroe was really murdered. And he was having affairs with this one and that seems all right. Everybody praises him. Plus, he kidnapped me. He helped in my kidnapping and bringing me over to Moulton, Alabama. So you can kidnap a monarch, you can kill and be part of mafia, the Illuminati, and hey, you're praised. But I'm not taking up for Mower if he did that, and I doubt. I don't know. I'm not going to say anything. So much had been done to me and nobody cared. I didn't see them all over what was being done to me. But you know what happens is after I found out about my kidnapping, that I learned about my father and mom, my real name. And it's really me against the Illuminati is exactly what it is, against the world government. Because of taking down my dad and kidnapping me in 41 when they kidnapped me, they really invaded the UK with illegal treaties. They had to get rid of my dad and me, okay, which enabled them to go in and position themselves with the military. And by the way, they had Sir Winston Churchill in their pocket and everything. And they did have the Church of England, the Archbishop, back then in their pocket. How's that? Wow, you talk about having a cold-blooded killer, Elizabeth, the illegal second, walk in to church every Sunday. What kind of message does that send if the truth's ever told? And you've got the real one over here on the street begging, that's had every criminal act in the book done to me and to my children. But the Illuminati, well, the American and some of Sir Winston Churchill, so some of my own people, UK was invaded is what it was, under the guise of, hey, we're here to save you. They were there to take everything we had, and they did just about. There's some left. All we have to do is to look at the British Empire, the timeline when it began to be diminished and become property or territory of the United States of America. Plus the monarch is over here hostage. And all this going on, nobody tells the truth about it. And my only outlet has been YouTube and Facebook. And then Facebook's owned by Zuckerman, and Zuckerman is a grandson of Rockefeller, so there you go. And all these people are running around going to clean up cyberbullying and fake news. And can you really sit back and think, if the truth is really told, And the truth is that they took down my father, a decent man, married to Claudia Ruth O'Keefe, an American school teacher, sister to artist Georgia O'Keefe, one of the greatest artists ever. And that's all been a lie. And here they're up there, and William's in there too, trying to make themselves look like the good guy. If they didn't have the cameras following William and Kate and focused on them. But anyway, I wanted to get back to this. After my kidnapping in 41 is when they positioned themselves, and it positioned themselves so they could take out Sweden, Norway, Denmark, and those countries if they didn't go along with them. So they were the ones that invaded, and the Netherlands. And by the way, if you look at the Netherlands, that's where your war crimes are, and it's controlled by the Illuminati, the Kissinger, etc., etc. And the UN, which is what, when they were through conquering the world, the United Nations is what you have. It's the headquarters, really, for the Illuminati or the Mafia, right up in New York, okay, where the Rockefeller is. And they're focusing, all the news is focusing on more here. It's all over CNN. You can't turn the channels. And you got, who is this, Lindsey Graham, saying, well, they don't need, he's not fit to be in the Senate, etc. Oh my God. The truth would just about take the whole mess down. So they're all focusing on Roy Moore, Judge Roy Moore. And I'm not taking up for him. I will take up for George Wallace. I know George Wallace was a good man, and what was done to that man is horrifying. By the way, Lina Dempsey was with him, the woman that, where they took me, and she killed her twins, and they put me there and gave me the twins' name, Peggy. She was with him when he was shot in Laurel, Maryland. Now, I'm not saying she had anything to do with that, but there's positions that she was at, like, Senator, and I know I've put this up before, Senator John Sparkman from Alabama, and he was so much a part of the wheeling and dealing and what went on in between the United States and forcing Great Britain to do what the United States said because they hold the monarch, me. She was with him when he died. She was doing like a companion aid, and she's supposed to have been disabled, and she's drawing money and food stamps, and here she's working for the senator. She was on drawing money from the court in Huntsville. She was up there helping to choose people who were sending out letters anyway to potential people to sit on juries, and she's getting paid for that. So this woman not only killed her twins, I was kidnapped, so she's guilty of all these crimes and in between trying to kill me, and there you go. So I guess this is what I was going to put in the end. I don't know who. Anyway, I'm watching part of this, and one of them has Gloria Allred as her attorney. Isn't it something that I sit here, that everything in the book has been done, a monarch, and nobody will touch it? And this is what I'm going to say here. The whole thing boils down to the Illuminati control everything now. They're your global government. They're in power. And the chipping has been going on for a long, long time. And I've used, oh God, I can't think of his name right at the moment, the Oklahoma City bomber. He was programmed. He even told everybody that the military chipped him and put a chip up his buttocks. And I dare say that's been going on a long, long time before 1963. So where am I at? Well, it's me against the Illuminati. That's exactly where it's at. It's the real Queen of England against the Illuminati, the one world government that has been chipping people for a long, long time through root canals, heart bypasses. All right.